Hi and welcome to Stamping with Teresa. Tonight I'm actually going to be sharing more about our glossy paper that we did last week. So many people sent me some nice comments and emailed me through the week really wanting to know a little bit more about the Stamparatus. So I'm glad you're all keen to know a little bit more. So I hope everyone had a nice weekend last weekend. So the Stamparatus is not coming out into our new catalogue on the 2nd of June, though some people did get to pre-order before. So if you were one of those lucky ones that got to a pre-order before, well, you might have it at home that you can use. It has got some really great instruction sheets in how to set it up. And if you're not sure what a Stamparatus is, it's a stamp positioner. But the good thing about it is that you can actually position 4 or more pieces at one time. So it's got 4 sides to it. So I'm going to bring the camera down so you can actually see, and we'll start doing our card for tonight. So I'll just bring this down. I hope you can sort of see here. So this is the Stamparatus, and it's got little hinges on the end, this end, that actually hops into the base. So you can actually pop it into the base of your Stamparatus. It's got 2 really strong magnets that belong underneath. Excuse me, I've got a tickle in the throat. But just be careful of the magnets, because if you have got a pacemaker, you do have to be aware that they are strong magnets. And also, I wouldn't put them together because they're really hard to pull apart, so keep them very separate. It's also got a foam mat that you can actually use for your photopolymer stamps, which is perfect. And then you've got your grid for your other stamps. So we need to put our black piece in first, and like I said, we're going to be working on glossy paper. So I'm just going to put my glossy paper down and put these really strong magnets on here. Now tonight I'm actually using the High Tide, excuse me, I have got a tickle in the throat, the High Tide stamp set. It's one of my favourites, and because we did a beach theme last week, which was this one, I thought it'd be nice to keep with the beach house, but the beach theme I mean, but this time we'll do a lighthouse. So I really liked the one we did last week as well. But tonight we're going to use the Stamparatus, and we're going to also use some sponging technique. Okay, so the first thing you do is you position your very first stamp where you want it. So this is where I want the lighthouse roughly to be. So then I'm going to ink it up with the Memento black ink. And just, the good thing about it is if you don't quite get enough ink on it the first time, you can actually do it again, which is really nice. So just hold it, give it a little bit of time to hold, and then when you lift it, just make sure you do get your finger in there and hold that little bit of glossy paper. Okay, so I'm just going to wipe the ink off that one. Okay, so because this one's wet, I actually did one earlier that's dry, because you will have to let them dry in between. So what I would probably do is, if you're going to use the Stamparatus, and I would, if you're going to make 2 or 3 cards the same, I'd do all at number 1 first, and then come in with the number 2. By the time you've done 3 or 4 of them, the number 1 should be dry. Okay, so we're going to use the Cherry Cobbler ink pad next, and this is on our coloured part of the, I like to keep these not connected in while I'm stamping them. I like to have them flat because it makes it easier to stamp. So this is the second side. I've also numbered mine, so on this one I've put 1 and 4, and on this one I have got 2 and 3. So I'm going to place the 2 side down now, because this is the bit that's going to come in and colour it. So just got to make sure I've got that just a little bit that way. because I have taken them off a couple of times today, so I'm just going to press that in. Hopefully we're pretty well on track and lined up. So once again, just hold it a little bit and then lift it up. You can sort of see that it actually comes out really lovely. So that's the bit that we're going to actually do with the Stamparatus. The rest on the sponging I'm going to do by hand. So we just take that one out and we're just going to wipe our stamp. Now I just want to quickly mention about the Stamparatus is when you're actually packing it away, oh no, we're going to do one more piece actually. Just make sure that when you're packing it away that you actually unclip these, because they will break. If your magnets go underneath, so they do store in here in the little slots underneath, and then yeah, just store these on top like this. Do not store them while they're in the hinges, because if you do, they will snap. Okay, so you really don't want to store them that way. You want to take them out of your little hinges and store them this way. Okay, so they're not actually in, so that they're separate. Okay, so I'm just going to put the this piece back on, and I'm just going to show you with our drier one that we did earlier, because I've got wet ones and dry ones here. So I'm just going to pop this one back in. Hi Rachel, how are you? Lovely to see you on. So people have asked me, how do we actually place these so we know where we need to place them, and I like to, once they're dry, is just bring this little piece in where it's going to go, and then we're going to close our Stamparatus over. And I'm just want to move that out of the way for a minute. Sorry, I'm just going to move that out of the way. Okay, this is sticking to the glossy paper more than what it does normal cardstock, so I will have to be a little bit more mindful of that. Okay, just going to move these magnets so I can get my hand in there. Okay, just press that in and then press it off. Okay, so we're going to do some sand, and these magnets are really strong, so like I said, you just don't want to get them close together. Okay, so we're going to use a little bit of 2 greys. We're going to use the smoky slate first, just to give it a bit of a light effect, and then we can close that one. Beautiful. So you can sort of see it's a very light effect, and then I'm going to come over with a bit more of a darker effect over this side. I'm just going to take this out. I do like to ink it out of the tray because it makes it easier to ink the stamp and get that nice coverage that you need of ink. And we're just going to pop it in there and just come down. Just hold it for a few minutes so that it actually grabs the card. Okay, so that's good enough. It's given us a little bit of outline, so I'm just going to take this one off and just pull these apart. These magnets then can go underneath, so they just store in underneath like this. One there, one there. Your mat I just keep in there, and then I would just place your 2 boards on top like this. So your hinges are on the outside all the way around. Okay. So if you have any questions or you'd like to have a Stamparatus party when the time comes, so this is what we've done so far. So you can sort of see it is quite quick and it does position it quite well. So we're going to do a little bit of sponging and masking with this as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is come in with some yellow, and it's going to be a soft yellow to start with, and it's the So Saffron, and I love the So Saffron. Just squeeze your ink pellets together and you'll get some ink on top, and then we're just going to come in with the yellow. Now we are going to need a mask, so just while I'm getting that ink on there, when you cut out your masks, I like to put my sticky notes on a bit of cardstock because it gives it a little bit more filling to cut, you know, to hold that sticky note, because when you're using punches and that through the thin paper, sometimes they won't cut properly. So if you actually stick it onto your cardstock, you'll get a nice neat circle for our moon that we're going to do up here. So that's a really good idea. And then I just keep that bit of cardstock and put my mask on it each time that I've used it, and it just keeps it a little bit more firmer. It also keeps anything from the sticky note on the back nice and clean. It keeps it clean for you the next time you use it, so that it actually sticks. So that's a little tip that's really one that I really love. So we're just going to come in with a little bit of saffron, and we will put our mask over the top of that. And I actually cut this one out the other day because I was making a lot of these. So just pop it over the top. Okay, and I've got our little moon, and that's the 1-inch circle punch, which is a really nice one for, it's not overly too big, and it's not overly too small. You just don't want a huge big sum, but then you don't want it too small either. So okay, so I'm just going to go on with some saffron first. So sponging on glossy paper is really beautiful to do. It's really glides over the glossy paper, which is really nice. So then I'm going to actually come in with the crushed curry. Just bring in a little bit of crushed curry, which is a little bit darker yellow. If you ever want to sponge along, yeah, you can sponge along with me, but if you ever want to join in, just let me know, and I'll try to put up what I'm using so you can actually do it with me, which would be nice. Okay, so we've got a little bit of yellow happening there. I'll just turn it around so you can sort of see it. I know it's upside down. Okay, so we've got our yellow happening there. Then I'm going to come in with our perfect plum. This is a really, really nice, the perfect plum. I love it because it's a really skyey type colour. I'm just going to find my perfect plum sponge. And we're just going to go around the edges with this. So we're going to come in around the edges. I know some people love the purpley colour. So you can sort of see it's really nice to bring in the purple. It gives that purpley effect. Okay, you can always add a little bit more. So don't go overboard if you're not too sure, because you can always come in with a little bit more on this as you're doing it. We're going to do our C. I'm going to do the C. We're going to have a horizon. So once again, I like to keep my sticky notes, if I'm using them, on a bit of card. Okay, so we're going to go in. Oh, we might actually do it. Yeah, we want a horizon, so we're going to have it straight. Horizon's always straight, so we're going to bring it in straight. So we're using the Night of Navy. And this is quite dark, but if you're not sure on your dark, come away from your glossy to start off with, and then come down onto it, so that you feel like you're not getting overly too much. And you can just bring that in onto that side to get that nice line. Now if you want it a bit darker, just keep sponging more onto it, which is really nice. And we're going to do the sky as well, so we're going to need some masking here that I'm going to put this one in up this way, and we're just going to bring in some blue. on the sky. So I'm going to start off and come up to get our lines happening, and then come in with our blue. So you're not just rubbing it all over, you're sort of coming around where you really need it. And you sort of see how that sort of gives it a real horizon of the sky there. So you've got this nice section happening in there. Okay, so I'm going to bring in a little bit of red in around here. So I'm going to come in with the cherry cobbler. Just going to find all my sponges. And I want to just bring this down just a fraction. And I'm going to come around the moon area. And just bring in a little bit more of that redness in around there, so it's not all yellow. So you can sort of see how we're getting a bit of a sunset happening here. So we're going to move this down just a fraction bit more. We'll go this way. Okay, and we're just going to come Don't forget to put your mask over your lighthouse, because there's nothing worse than you go through and you do all this and then you realise that you've got no mask over it. You really need to remember to put that mask over it. So we can sort of see this is happening really, really nice here. And we're going to bring in a little bit of yellow, orange and red. A little bit of red, a little bit of saffron. Get those colours happening. Okay, so you can sort of see you're getting a really nice effect there. So you might want to come up a little bit higher and just bring in a little bit. Just make sure you put your mask back on if it comes off with the sticky Post-it notes that you're masking with. So we're going to come in just roughly on this bottom bit, just with some blue. Okay, so we're just going to come in with the blue. Because the water back is always darker than... And then I'm just going to bring that blue also up and just shade it in with the clouds up here. Okay, I hope you can see that. So you can sort of see that we've got our ocean happening there. Now we're going to also come in with a little bit of lighthouse doesn't sit in the middle of the ocean, so we need to put some brown in here as well. And we're going to come in with some brown coverage here where our lighthouse is going to be sitting with the rocks off and off on. So we're using chocolate chip here. So we just squeeze it. Okay, so we're just going to pick up the chocolate chip and we're just going to sponge. We're actually going to use our ink pad because we want it a little bit darker. So we're just going to come in with the ink pad over that spongy bit. Okay, so you can sort of see that we have now the lighthouse sitting on some ground, which is really lovely. We might need to go up just a fraction bit higher, so we just take that mask up a fraction, because we just want it to hit the bottom of the lighthouse. So we're just going to come in here and just do just a fraction bit more, just a bit lighter this time. Okay, just make sure that when you've got your mask pieces that you move them out of the way, don't put your arm in them, which I have done quite often. Okay, so we're just going to stick our mask back onto our little cardstock, and that can go back into my masking box. It just stops the fluff from getting on it, And you really need to stop that because, yeah, there's nothing worse than when you go to stick it on, it doesn't stay in place because it's got fluff and that on it from sitting around. Now we're going to use the Whisper White, and in the stamp set also we have this water type effect. So we're going to use the Whisper White and that water over our blue, which will give it a really beautiful effect. Okay, so I just need to find a block. Now you will need to bring that mask back. Where did I just pop it? Just moved it out of my way. Here it is. We will need to bring this mask back over our lighthouse. Okay. So we're going to put the ink into our Whisper White. I'm just going to move those Post-it notes over there. So you can sort of see you can get a nice coverage white on here. And we're going to come into the water effect. It's going to give it like really nice waves. Just remember that you've got masking down the ground down the bottom, so you don't want it down there. But you might be able to get it just in around that bottom bit. Okay, we're just going to move that off. So you can sort of see that that does give it a really nice watery effect. Okay, so we're still building up on this picture, which is really lovely. It's amazing how quick time goes when you're doing this. It goes really fast. So just going to add a little bit more blue, and then I'm just going to add a little bit more purple around there. I just want a little bit more of the purpley effect on here before I stamp some birds up there. Okay, so I'm just going to come in a little bit more with the purple. Just remember that it is wet, so just don't put your fingers in down the bottom there until it dries. Okay, now you can blend these all in a little bit with some colours, which looks really nice. So we're going to take our moon mask off now. Okay, so this is coming off. Oh, we've got a nice white moon happening there. I'll just put my mask on there. And also in this beautiful set, we have the birds that fly in the air, which is really lovely too. They're like the seagulls. Okay, where are my seagulls? Here they are. And this one. Okay, so we're just going to grab them out. And I'm just going to close that ink up so I don't put my fingers in it. Don't we all wear old pants when we're stamping? Because how many of us wipe our hands on our pants? I know I do. I always wear old ones when I'm doing my stamping. Okay, so we're just going to bring these birds in also. I'm just going to stick my mask back over there so it doesn't get dirty. Okay, so they're going to be flying in over there. So we'll go in with the Memento ink. Now don't forget you are working on glossy, so if you're working on glossy you must hold it and not smudge it because that will slide. So straight down, hold for a few minutes and then lift. So you can sort of see you've got your birds up going across the moon area. It's really beautiful when you can see it up close. It looks really lovely. Now I have chosen tonight to put the cherry cobbler on cherry cobbler background. So I've also got a lady here which is in one of our other stamp sets, which the Beautiful You, which I really love, and I just wanted to show you while that's drying a little bit. how to actually colour her in with the Wing Castella pen. The Wing Castella pen is great. It's glossy. It's a glossy pen, but it works like an aqua painter. So it's really beautiful to use when you're painting. So the thing that we're going to use the cherry cobbler, and don't do it on your pad because you will get glossy all through your pad, but make sure that you pick it up in your lid and then you can wipe your lid before you close it. It works like an aqua painter, just squeeze it. So we're going to give her a really beautiful little red dress, and it really does paint really easily on the glossy paper, and it gives it that beautiful glittery effect, which is really beautiful. I'm going to do her dress, and we're just going to give her long sleeves on this dress. So we're just going to come down longer sleeves. So we might come right down to her hands today. Then we're going to give her long sleeves. Okay, then we're just going to wipe it the same as you do with an aqua painter, just backwards and forwards on your paper. Just grab a little bit of paper towel and just wipe your lid out so the gloss doesn't get on the ink, top of your ink pad. Okay, thank you for sticking with me, Rachel. It's lovely to see you. I'm not sure if anyone else is on there tonight or not, but I'm just going to pick up a little bit of that red and just do her red shoes. Just very lightly pick up the red, but just do a little bit on there. Okay, so we're going to give her what colour? I think we better give her a red hat. I was going to give her a blue, but I think we'll just stick with the red. Okay, so I'll just pick that up again from a little bit on there, and we'll just come in with, you do have to be careful because like I said, it's wet, the same. And we'll come in a little bit darker on here and just bring it in a bit darker along here. You can always come back down over it when it's dry too and give it that second coat, which gives it a little bit more detail. You can give it, especially on these areas in here. Okay, so she's gorgeous. I'm just going to wipe that lid out. Now I did stamp her out earlier because time goes really fast and we've only got a few minutes left. Okay, so she's a little bit wet, but we're going to pop her on here. And I'm going to use our baby dimensionals tonight. These are absolutely gorgeous. They're so tiny and they're just so really lovely to work with. And they do stick well with the glossy paper. So, and they're really good for those little narrow bits. Okay, I'm trying not to touch her too much because I don't want to smudge her. I just want to put her on the card. Okay, she's going to be dancing near our lighthouse, which is really beautiful. So she comes up really lovely with the lighthouse, looking over the ocean. It's really gorgeous. So like I said before, I'm using the cherry cobbler cardstock for my card. And we're just going to close it over, and we're going to use the bone folder to fold it. It's always good not to use your fingers because your fingers have got oils and the oils get onto your card. So we don't want that to happen. So this is actually going to be placed on here, but I'm not going to put it on just yet because it's a bit wet still. I'm just going to hold it up so you can sort of see that it will be on this colour card background, which would be really nice. The only thing I want to say tonight is I hope you enjoyed working with the Stamparatus and our glitter pen. Also our April Hostess code, I'm just going to put it back up to me. Hi Rachel. Hi Heather. If you didn't get to see the whole video, jump back on later. It will be on my Facebook page, Stamping with Teresa, and you can re-watch it again. So if you want to make the card, you can order the products and you can re-watch it and make the products as you go. Like I said, last week we made this one on glossy paper, absolutely beautiful. This week, just keep my fingers off it a little bit. We've done our beautiful lighthouse and our beautiful lady from, that's the High Tide stamp set and the beautiful You stamp set. And it looks really lovely, it really does. And using the Stamparatus to bring in the lighthouse was really good. So, hi Beth, how are you tonight? If you didn't get on here, like I said early enough, just, you know, jump back on the video afterwards. I'm feeling very excited. I'm heading off tomorrow to Sydney for the 30-year anniversary of Stampin Up, so I'm very excited about that. Already got my bags packed, so up early in the morning and catching a flight up there. So tomorrow night and the weekend I'll be in Sydney. Our April hostess code is all in capital letters, and it's M for Mum, S for Stacey, B for Brenda, R for Ronnie, N for Nanny, Y for Yacht, T for Teresa, and Y for Yacht. If you want to place an order in April, the money and your orders over 250, by all means, get their hostess spending. You deserve it as well. But if your order is going to be under 250, put the hostess code in where you order, and this will help Ronald McDonald Kids. Hopefully this year in May we're hoping to get down and give the kids some products. So all the hostess spending, I've been spending on product, and hopefully we'll have a nice little range of papers and cardstock and stamps to take down to the kids so that they've got something to do in hospital. I hope you all enjoy your weekend, and thank you for tuning in again. See you all again next Thursday night at 7:30. Bye for now.